Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode on GitLab Features. My name is Gaston Fang. I'm a consultant here at the Release team. And today we are going to explore another feature on GitLab. Do you know that you can run your GitLab pipeline against projects outside GitLab? Well, this is what we're going to talk about today. Maybe you don't want to migrate all your project in GitLab, but you still want to take advantage of the great feature of GitLab CI/CD. This feature is useful for that specific case. We're going to see that in action with an example. If you're ready, let's get started. So GitLab has a feature called CI/CD for external repositories for premium and ultimate customers. The feature is primarily for those hosting their project outside GitLab. Let's say you have your source code hosted on GitHub or Bitbucket or any other Git server, and you don't want to use the GitHub action for your pipeline or Bitbucket pipeline or Jenkins. You can still leverage this feature to run your different tests against those projects out of GitLab. And you have to know though that there are a lot of limitations in these features. And we're going to talk about those later. And of course, this feature is available in GitLab.com, GitLab Self-Managed, and GitLab Dedicated. So what the feature does is essentially to mirror your project located outside of GitLab and create a lightweight project with no issue, merge requests, wiki, or snippet. So you have that mirror project in your GitLab. And anytime you have a push on your external repository or whenever you create a merge request, GitLab is going to trigger the pipeline on the GitLab side. And of course, you can always set what are the triggers to your pipeline. Is it a push or a merge request? Note that this feature can be set up manually or automatically through creating a new project. For this demonstration, we're going to use the automatic option. Let's jump right into it. Okay, I have this project called Fufon on GitHub. It is located under the GitLab mirroring organization. It's a very simple project just for this demonstration. And I don't want to run my pipeline from within GitHub, but instead I want to run on GitLab. So within the repository under the main branch, because that's the branch I want to work on, I create a .gitlab ci.yaml file where I set up my pipeline. It's a very simple pipeline with only 2 stages, but we want to run all this in GitLab, not GitHub. Now here I am in GitLab under this organization called GitLab Mirroring, and the organization is under the Ultimate trial because the feature we are going to explore now is a premium feature. Any premium feature is going to be Ultimate as well. So what we're going to do is click create a new project, and we are going to choose to run CI/CD for external repositories. Now here we have to fill up all the information requested here. We have the Git repository URL. It's going to be GitHub something. We have the username and the password. If you're trying to log in GitHub, it's going to be the token as a password. And then we have a project name and description or the visibility level. Pretty straightforward. Okay, this is how it looks when it's properly filled. You want to make sure that your token, the GitHub token that you use here, has the repo and the admin repo hook permissions. You want to make sure that it has those 2 permissions. If for any reason the username on the token does not work, you will see something like this. We'll show you that it's not valid Git repositories. So you want to make sure that you have proper login information. Now we want to hit create repository. Here we can see our GitHub repository on GitHub, but this is just a mirror. So what you cannot see here is the issues and merge requests. As we say earlier, when you mirror a repository, you don't have the issues and the merge requests. Now let's check our mirroring informations. If we go to setting in repository and auto mirror repository, we can see that GitLab had created a mirror repository and pulled that repository to GitLab. That's why we're able to see the code here. Right now, GitLab is still updating our repository from GitHub to GitLab. And you will see here that it has never been updated. The process is still ongoing. If we go back on the pipeline, we can see that there's no pipeline yet. Why? Because GitLab is still updating our repository. So let's go back on the mirror. Let's give it some time. We can notice that it takes time just to update this small repository, which is not quite convenient. So if we check on mirroring settings, go to settings and repository. Under mirroring repository, we can see that GitLab has mirrored our GitHub repository. It was pulled 1 minute ago and it was successful. Now, if we go on the pipeline, We will not be able to see any pipeline at this point. We can only see the pipeline at the next push or merge request creation on the GitHub side. Let's go and push something on GitHub and see how the pipeline will be created on GitLab. Here we are on our repository on GitHub. If we change one file, let's just change this file here, index file, edit from here. We're just going to do a very small change here. We're going to change this character here. We are going to commit on the main branch. Just keep it simple. And if we commit this change and go back on GitLab, we refresh this page, the pipeline. There's still no pipeline at this point. Let's go check the mirroring to see if the update was effective. Okay, so here we can see that last update was 5 minutes ago. GitLab has not yet pulled the recent change on the repository. And this is another downside of this feature. What GitLab actually does is it has a webhooks created on GitHub based on the permission that you give your token. When a change is done on your repository, GitLab is going to receive that notification and mirror the new changes to GitLab. And the pipeline can only trigger after GitLab has mirrored the new code from GitHub. But you can still force the pull by clicking on update now. Let's do that. We see that GitHub is now updating the repository. It's only after this update that the pipeline will start on the GitLab side. This kind of configuration will easily slow down your team. And that's one of the downside of this feature. If we refresh this page, our pull has been successful. We can see it here. Now, if we go back on the build, we see that a new pipeline has started. We click on the pipeline. We can see the different stages, just like a regular repository located in GitLab with the pipeline in GitLab. All right, all our jobs have been successful. In this pipeline, we only have 2 stages, but you can have as many stages as you want. Like I said earlier, the downside of the feature is the delay that it may cause to your team, because it may not keep up with your multiple pushes. It works with GitHub, Bitbucket, it works with Azure as well. For more information, you can always go to GitLab documentation that I will add in the description of this video. Thank you for watching.